Alright people, the universe has provided Stranger Things content, so here I am. Hi everybody, Carla here. This is my fandom vlog where I talk about my favorite fandoms or just fandom in general. Welcome if it's your first time. If you've been here for a while, thank you. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you very, very much. This is kind of an emergency episode, I guess, because as you can see, I don't know if you can tell, but my lighting is a little bit different because it's not daytime. You know, it's like, what, 10 at night or something. Last night, just as I was about to head to bed, because I'm on the opposite side of the world where everything happens, so generally speaking, when stuff comes out, it's usually as I'm heading to bed, and it's way late to begin with because I go to bed very late. So usually when I'm going to bed, things come out, and yesterday when I was just about to get into bed, literally, like I was just about to turn off my TV when I saw we had Stranger Things content. That is, there was a release of a, I don't know, they call it a sneak peek. I guess it's a sneak peek. It's not a trailer. It's just like images of stuff floating at us on the screen, I guess. But it was supposed to announce that Stranger Things Season 4 is coming next year, so definitely not 2021. There go my hopes for everything. I was hoping it would be this year, but then they announced that The Witcher would be in December, and I'm like, yeah, if The Witcher's in December, Stranger Things is probably not going to come until next year. I don't know. But in order to announce that the new season was going to come in 2022 and give fans, I guess, a little bit of content, because everybody's been so desperate because it's been like 2 years since the last season came about. Now, I tend to, cut them some slack. There's been a pandemic. It's been complicated. Stranger Things, as it is, takes a long time to film. Like, it usually takes like a year and a half for a new season to come out. So I tend to cut them some slack when it comes to that. I'm not like mad that it's taking them this long. Like, it's an involved production. It's very, very involved, and it's not like they can just like switch to Zoom episodes. Like, I was just watching High School Musical, the series this past week, and they have like one whole episode that's like almost everything by Zoom, and it's not like a pandemic episode. They were on spring break, so it was just like normal video chat or something. It wasn't pandemic themed or anything, but you can tell, like, yeah, they probably filmed this one just as the pandemic was getting started. You know what I mean? Like, let's make use of the Zoom. This is not something they can do with Stranger Things because it's set in the 80s and there was no internet in anyone's home at that point. Like, even if the internet was invented at that point, which it wasn't public yet. So that's not a thing that they can do with Stranger Things. They have to film the old-fashioned way, pretty much, like with the people actually there and together in the same place. Otherwise, if you want to like green screen everything, it's gonna be a massive disaster. So they have to bring everybody in to film, and they have to take all the pandemic precautions because of that. And I know it takes like for freaking ever. Like, if somebody puts one foot outside the lines and they have to quarantine, that's 2 weeks you lose. So it's a lot. I give them, a lot of leeway because of that. So I know a lot of fans are like actually mad that the season hasn't come out yet. I'm not. I'm expecting it to take a while. And like I said, The Witcher started filming first, like before Stranger Things did, and their season is just coming out in December, so I'm like, yeah, it makes sense to me that it's going to be after The Witcher. But anyway, they released a small sneak peek last night, and last night for me, I guess, and it was really quick, 30 seconds, but we did get some new footage So as usual, when that happens, I am here to analyze it frame by frame because that's what I do, I guess. Either way, I'm just happy that we have signs of life from Stranger Things. I know they've said that David Harbour said that they should be done filming in August at some point, so they're probably pretty ahead on it. And usually they start, visual effects even while they're filming. Like the Duffers are very good about getting the first few episodes to VFX while they're filming the last few episodes of the season, generally speaking. So in previous seasons, it's only taken like maybe 5 months for them to get the VFX done. I'm thinking they're giving themselves some time in this because it's 5 months would be November. The season's obviously not going to come out in November. We know it's 2022. So they're giving themselves some time to figure out, marketing and stuff. They also have to promote it. So yeah, it's gonna take a little bit more time, I guess. But I think the season will probably be done before, way before, at least a month before it's slated to come out. So yeah, I'm going to take a look at the newest sneak peek for season 4. We're going to look at it frame by frame, or clip by clip, really. There's not much to see, so I hope this video will be on the shorter side of things and it won't take me an hour to look at 15 seconds of footage. But let's get on it, shall we? The first thing I want to mention before I start actually looking at the trailer itself is that this season's promotion has been slightly different, not just because of the pandemic, but even before the pandemic. It was kind of weird. It was different from the other ones because in the previous 3 seasons, usually what's happened is that when we get some kind of announcement of the season, the first thing we get is the episode titles. And for season 4, we know the first episode. They revealed it in an Instagram photo, I believe. It's the Hellfire Club. That's the name of the first episode. But we don't know anything about any of the other episodes, and that is weird because usually the Duffers give us a full list of episode titles. I'm wondering if there's something in there that's just way spoilery. I don't know. Or maybe they just wanted, because they ended season 3 on a cliffhanger with Hopper, maybe they just wanted to give us some hope, so they started with the Hopper clip that we got back in February of last year, the From Russia with Love clip, so that we know that Hopper's alive. And then since they had already given us footage, they just kept on giving us footage, right? Because we have that first From Russia with Love clip, then we got the 11 Are You Listening clip, and now we have this sneak peek. But still no episode titles, which is weird. And it makes things harder to speculate, I think, without episode titles. Because usually the episode titles, you can sort of get a lot from them. I don't always get it right. Most of the time I don't. But some things I did get right in the previous seasons. So I don't know. I'm wondering if maybe they're too spoilery or if they just forgot. There was a pandemic, so I don't blame them if they just forgot. Giving people episode titles is low priority, I guess. I don't know. So, the trailer, it's not a trailer, it's a sneak peek. It's very short, 30 seconds in total, and most of it isn't even new stuff. Most of it is just stuff from previous seasons, which tells me that they didn't want to give too much away and they had to pad the things so that it could be at least 30 seconds long. But basically the trailer starts with the 11 Are You Listening line from the last clip we got with Brenner. So Brenner asking 11 Are You Listening, and we see the room in the Hawkins lab that has the 11 on it and whatnot. And then after that we just see a bunch of scenes from previous seasons, so there's nothing new in that section of the sneak peek. And at one point they also include Dustin's Holy Mother of, that line from season 3, which was in the trailer and that everybody loves, of course. It was a good scene. So lots of old stuff, nothing interesting in that part. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start my frame by frame analysis from the point where we start hearing new stuff. So after Dustin's line, we also hear a voice saying, "Something's coming. It is almost here." And that's it. At first, I heard it the first time and I thought, wow, wait, I've never heard that before. What's coming? And it seemed weird because the voice was a kid and I hadn't heard of any new child characters. Like, most of the new characters they've announced are grown-ups, or teens. Basically, not children. But then after watching it a few times, I realized that's actually an old line of dialogue. It's Mike from the very first episode of season 1, when they're playing Dungeons and Dragons and Mike is the dungeon master and he's narrating the story. He was talking about, I don't remember if it was the Demogorgon in that one clip or something, but it's him, it's Mike. They cut it from Mike's lines from season 1, so it's not new either. However, when we hear those lines, we see new footage, and specifically in this case it's a footage of a clock. So the clock motif has been happening since the very first Stranger Things 4 announcement came out. The very first announcement that we got, just letting us know that the show had been renewed for a 4th season. The previous teaser also included a clock. This clock was in the lab and it was pointing or ticking toward 3 p.m. I think. I mean, I don't think it was 3 a.m. It was just 12-hour clock, so 3 p.m. or a.m., but I'm assuming it's p.m. And the original season 4 announcement also had a clock. And I think it might be the same clock we see in this clip, in this shot here. It seemed like an old-timey clock, clock face, like a grandfather clock. And in that first announcement video, that clock that we saw was in the upside down, which isn't surprising because most of the stuff that's in the real world is also on the upside down, in the upside down. That clock was ticking up to 12. I think it was actually at 12. That clock was ticking up to 12, basically. I don't know if it's midnight or noon, but I assume midnight. But it was ticking up to 12. And then we get this one, and this one is at 12. I don't know what the significance of that is. I don't really know, but it's creepy. There's something about clocks and grandfather clocks in attics and stuff that is just creepy. So I like that they started with that. It's interesting. And I like that they keep bringing it up, like this time clock motif. It's very creepy. Then we get, I guess, the point of the sneak peek, which is to tell us that the season is coming in 2022. Like I said, I was hoping for it to come out this year, 2021, but I also kind of had a long shot theory that maybe they'd release it in March 2022, because some set pics that we've seen showed that the season might be taking place during spring break for the kids. And Stranger Things does this thing where, they release most seasons around the time of year, the period of the year that is the same as the events happening in universe. So season 2 was in October, November. It was released in October, November, like in that same period. And then season 3 was July 4th. It was released in July 4th. So I'm thinking it would make sense for them to do the same for season 4, which would mean that if this is taking place in spring break, which is around mid-March, that they will release it mid-March. Now, I have a theory, because in the pics that we saw, spring break was the week of the 10th or something. My birthday is March 11th, just warning. Be sure to, shout out at me on Twitter if you remember at that point. Leave me a comment, congratulations, all welcome. March 11th is my birthday, and it happens to fall on a Friday. Best release day? I'm just saying. Hint, hint. It might be a good idea. So I'm thinking either way, like even if it's not the 11th, it won't be later than March. I don't think so. And I had that as a long shot because of the set pics that we've seen. So yeah, it makes sense that they waited until March rolled around again to release it at that point. I guess we'll have to wait, and it sucks that we have to wait, but you know, I don't mind. It's been a complicated 2 years, man. So whatever. Anyway, after that we see 11. She's being held back and pulled back into what looks like a van by 2 people in suits. And those, if you ask me, those are definitely government people. Like, the suits, come on. Government people are called suits for a reason. And I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it's the government. Maybe it's the lab. I don't know. But it's definitely no one good. I'm suspecting that she's getting carried off and either leaving someone behind, like Joyce or Mike or Will, like someone's been taken away from her, or she's been taken away from them. That's one option. Or the other option is something is happening. She was trying to go, like, stop it from happening. Like, maybe someone's getting hurt, maybe they're destroying something that she wanted to see or something, and she's trying to go there and stop them, and they're holding her back. I don't know. It could be either, but all I know is I like the bangs. Not that I'm biased or anything, you know. Hell with bangs. Great representation. Go. But girl, what are you wearing? What's up with those clothes? Like, I know she, you know, wears a bit of like hand-me-downs from Hopper and from Joyce, and that makes total sense. But like, dude, I know spring is not exactly warm in Indiana, but come on, 3 layers? Wow. Seems a little bit like overkill, doesn't it? What about a jacket? I don't know. It's just weird clothing. But I like the bangs. I'll take the bangs. I love 11 with bangs. It's awesome. After that, we see a global phenomenon, and yeah, definitely Stranger Things is pretty much, that's what it is. Then we see a shot of someone walking into somewhere, and the place is dark and the outside is illuminated, so you only see the silhouette of people from the back. And the person who walks in first, who's in the front, definitely looks like Nancy. I mean, that her girl. We also see at least 2 people behind her. One of them we can't quite see because they're standing directly behind Nancy. The other one, at first I thought it might be Steve, but then I thought they're a little short for Steve. Like, even with the perspective of Nancy, like, standing closer to the camera, it still looks off. It looks like they might be way shorter than Steve. So what I did was that I brightened the image, and I'm pretty sure that's Max. You know, like the puffy sleeves are kind of a giveaway, and they're light blue. So we will see from the next shot that, yeah, it's probably Max. And then the next shot then is a shot of the full group, probably inside whatever location they were just entering in the previous shot. I'm gonna just throw out a wild guess, and I'm gonna say, is it Penhurst? Because we know that Penhurst is gonna be a part of this at some point. Like, we have characters who are patients at Penhurst, and we have characters who are like nurses and orderlies at Penhurst. So I'm assuming Penhurst is going to be a big part of this season. I wonder if that's the place. Like, it looks creepy enough, I guess. And honestly, I love this shot. That shot, I love it. They're all looking great. Very 80s. Though, you know, I keep side-eyeing Nancy's hair, but what can I say? It was the 80s. It's a lovely group shot, though. And, you know, I love it. And I'm wondering if this is happening more toward the end of the season. Because usually they travel in like smaller groups for most of the seasons, and I hope they're following that same pattern, because if you've seen any of my Stranger Things reviews before, I love this idea that they are all sort of apart for most of the season, and then coming closer to the end they come together. Those moments where they come together, those are usually my favorite episodes of the season. So I hope they're following that pattern in this season as well. I can't be sure, but I'm thinking, because there's so many of them, there's Steve, Justin, Max, Robin, Nancy, and Lucas, 7 of them, that they might be reunited closer toward the end of the season. I don't know, I just love that pattern, and I think it's been very successful for them. Like, those moments really are usually my favorite moments when they all come together after nearly an entire season apart. So yeah, I'm thinking this might be toward the end. So that's interesting. Next shot is just, the global phenomenon returns. So continuation of the text. And then we get Hopper with a flamethrower, which is nice because we didn't actually get that last season, and many of us had speculated that we would, because there was a shot in a trailer of someone in a hazmat suit using a flamethrower against the Demogorgons or whatever, Demodogs. It was in season 2, I believe. And most of us thought that would be Hopper, and it didn't turn out to be Hopper. It was just some random dude. So, I would like to see Hopper with an actual flamethrower. It would be a nice nod to the fans who have been, speculating about every frame of a trailer for a long time. Yeah, and also, I know the colors are technically the same, but I'm wondering if maybe the jacket that he's wearing is not a USA jacket, but rather a Russia jacket. Because the setting around him also actually looks like a cell, kind of. So one could argue that it could be in Russia, I guess. Like, it seems like a kind of derelict place. Or it could be in the lab. I'm not sure. Like, I can't actually tell from just half of our room. But either way, I'd love it if it turns out that Hopper is wearing a Russia jacket here, like he probably stole it from somewhere or whatever. That would be really funny. Then we see Hawkins High's cheerleaders. For a second, I thought that the one at the front was Amy Beth McNulty, whom I love. She's from Anne with an E, and she was fabulous as Anne of Green Gables, and I love her. And when they announced that she would be joining the cast of Stranger Things, I was like, fandoms colliding. It's awesome. I love her. So I was really excited about this being her, but then I realized that her character's not a cheerleader. I think she's in band. I'm actually not sure. But as far as I know, she's not a cheerleader. So honestly, it turns out that the girl in the front in this shot is actually Chrissy, and she's played by Grace Van Dien. She was also announced as a new character. I don't know much about her other than she's a cheerleader. She's probably not gonna have this huge, role. I guess we'll see. Notice that the sign at the back says, Hawkins Tigers can't be beat, which I think it's funny. Come on, Tiger Beat, anyone? Next shot is some dude watching a car on the side of the road on fire. So maybe there was a car crash or something. I don't know who that dude is, but this seems ominous. Again, at first sight, I thought it might be Steve. I don't actually know. It might not. His hair seems like entirely too well done for that to be Steve. He's usually more disheveled. So I don't know, one of the new numbers maybe? We're all anticipating that we will see more numbers, like more lab specimens, like 11 and like Kali this season. So maybe this is one of them. Maybe he has pyrokinetic powers. That would be cool. I mean, can't go wrong with a little fire, right? Then next shot, we actually do see Steve. Finally, a shot of Steve by himself, and he looks like he's underwater. And I should note that he's shirtless too, so score for the Steve fans, I guess. But I'm guessing he took his shirt off on purpose, if that's the case, because he's, shirtless in the water with a flashlight in his hand. So I'm guessing he didn't like fall into a lake by mistake or something. He wasn't like pushed into a lake or anything. Like, he actually like took off his clothes to jump into the lake, or whatever it is. I don't know that it's a lake or if it's just a quarry or something, but I don't know. All I know is that it seems like he jumped in for a reason, like he's looking for something maybe, I don't know. Then we had a shot of Dice. D&D. I'm guessing we're going to see plenty of D&D this season, especially given that the boys are in the D&D club at school. We know that's what it is. We know there's one of the new characters is the club president, and we can actually see a flyer for the Hellfire Club in the background of this little clip. So that's interesting. Next up, we see 11. Not 11 with bangs in the present, but like rather 11 with a shaved head, peeking out through the window of what I'm assuming is a door at the Hawkins lab. I'm assuming this is a flashback, I think, unless they're planning on taking her there again. I guess it could be either, but I hope they don't shave her head again. Like, that would suck. It's probably a cap, I'm guessing. But either way, like, it seems to me like it's probably a flashback. And the fact that we can only see her head also makes me think that it's a flashback, because she doesn't look like 11 years old 11 anymore, right? You know, like Millie's pretty much all grown up at this point. Like she's obviously still 17, but like she's changed a lot since she was 11 and in the first season. So I'm guessing that's why they keep her mostly hidden, so we only see her face. I don't know. And then last clip we get bikes. Oh, how I've missed the bikes, I'm just saying. There's seriously nothing more 80s than just seeing kids on bikes. It's awesome. In this shot, we actually see Max, Dustin, Lucas, and Erica, which is interesting. I like this as a group. I've been saying for a long time that I want the siblings to be together at some point. Not just Lucas and Erica, but also Nancy and Mike. Like, they haven't been in the same group. They're like, remember how I said that usually the cast is split into groups for the majority of the season? Mike and Nancy are almost never in the same group together to begin with. Probably because they run in different circles. But I want to see them together, and Lucas and Erica also did not spend much time together in season 3. Like in the group setting. Erica was with the Scoops troop and Lucas was with the rest of his friends. But I think it'll be nice to see them together. And also, I am a not quite secret, like closeted Dustin Max shipper. Still kind of like, I don't actually ship them. I like her with Lucas, it's fine. It's just I guess I'll always wonder what if. So if I get any interaction between them, I'm satisfied. You know, they don't have to actually get together or anything. She doesn't have to dump Lucas or anything. That's not what I want. I'm just saying I want to see her interact more with Dustin, because I liked their interaction back in season 2. I would like to see more of that. So it'll be interesting to see if they end up in the same group together. I think they were filming together at some point, as were Nancy and Robin. So I'm liking these pairings. I'm liking. I don't know how exactly the groups are going to be separated, but I'm liking this. And then, of course, the last shot of the trailer is the logo, which we all know and love. You know, there's nothing particularly new about the logo. Now, that's about it for the frame-by-frame analysis. Like I said, there's not much there. There's just a few new clips, but nothing major. We don't get any sound. We don't get any lines. So that's about as much as I can glean from it at the moment. But I really do have to note, we didn't see Mike or Will or Joyce anywhere in this trailer. So what I'm thinking is that the action, like the big, you know, scene, the big set piece action is mostly going to be taking place separately. The buyers and Nell on one side, wherever they are. I think they're filming in like New Mexico or something, in Albuquerque or whatever. I don't know if it's actually going to be Albuquerque in the show. It might be some, like, they film in Georgia and it's supposed to be Indiana, so it might be a different location in the show. But I'm thinking that maybe half the action is going to be taking place with them over there, wherever they are, and then the other half is just the Hawkins crew, you know, and they're on their own little like side quest or whatever, and eventually the two come together somehow. And then Hopper, who's probably still in Russia or on his way back from Russia. So this actually makes for a really globally oriented season, I would say. And Mike, I don't know about Mike, he's probably like visiting Elle maybe, and that's why he's not in any of the shots with the others. It would make sense if it's spring break, I guess, and he's taking this week to like go visit his girlfriend, and that's why he's not with the rest of them. I don't know, just speculation at this point. It might turn out to be wrong. It might turn out that Mike has been there the entire time and we just didn't get any clips with him in this sneak peek. So who knows? Yeah, that's about what I can speculate for this very little short sneak peek, because honestly it was just 30 seconds long and half of that was not even new. So there's not much to say, but it's something. Be thankful that we got something. Like I'm not telling you that you should be like me and be totally okay with them taking this long to come up with a new season. It's fine if you don't like that, but ignoring you. They're just going at their own pace. And right now they're at a point where they can give us some new footage. It might not be much, but it's new footage. It's more than we had last week. So, you know, I'm glad for it. I can't wait to see what they keep coming. If this thing is coming in March, we're definitely going to get something every couple of months, I'm thinking. Last year, I believe they did 3 trailers, like a teaser trailer, then 2 full trailers. One about like a month before the show came out, but I think we're gonna get a lot of stuff just because they've kept us waiting for so long. So yeah, silver linings, I guess. I don't know. For what it's worth, I like everything they give me. I can't wait to see this season. I'm so excited to just see it. And if they give it to me as a birthday present, I'm just saying, I can finally go ahead and say they're making this show for me. Thank you. Thank you. By the way, I should point out that the reason this came out this week is probably because Sean Levy is in the news this week. I guess I don't know if he's directing, but he's definitely producing the new Ryan Reynolds movie, Free Guy, which came out this week and apparently is better than most people expected it would be. It's not amazing or anything, but it's got like an 80-something% rating on Rotten Tomatoes, so it seems to be doing better than expected as far as critics go. I don't know how much money it'll make, but whatever. And Sean Levy I know he's producing it, I don't know if he's directing it as well. It's interesting because I was just watching Shadow and Bone not too long ago, and I literally, like weeks after I finished watching the series, I figured out like yesterday that Sean Levy and 21 Labs actually produced Shadow and Bone, and now I'm like, what? They're so different, but I love it because I loved Shadow and Bone as well. By the way, I have a short and sweet review of Shadow and Bone, just my top of the head thoughts about it, up on my Patreon. It's a Patreon exclusive, so if you want to see it, be sure to subscribe to my Patreon page. And yeah, that's, I think, all I can say for this. As usual, whenever there's anything new that comes out, I will be right back here to discuss it with you and to obsess about it with you and to go frame by frame with you, because that's what I do, right? That's my life, I guess. Anyway, if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you like my stuff, please subscribe to my channel. I'm always happy to see people liking and sharing and commenting and subscribing. It helps me a lot with YouTube algorithms and stuff. Thanks so much to everybody who's subscribed recently. Let's keep going. Let's keep going up. Everything helps, really. Just pass the word on. Everything helps. In the meantime, you can find me on social media. I am on Twitter and Instagram at girlsareweird with underscores between the words, and on Tumblr at girlsareweird with hyphens between the words. You can find a Facebook page for this vlog at facebook.com/FreakingNarnia, and as usual, be sure to visit my main website at FreakingNarnia.com/blog. That's VLOG. All my videos are up there. In case you missed any, you can just browse around or do a search or look up by categories. They're all in there, so be sure to do that, visit. And watch everything you need to watch because there's a lot of content for you up there. Also, remember I have a Redbubble store where I make art based on my favorite quotes from my favorite fandoms, and you can print that art on different kinds of merchandise such as t-shirts, coffee cups, computer covers, all sorts of neat stuff in there. So be sure to stop by and maybe purchase something if you're in the mood. It really does help me a lot. Also, remember that if you'd like to have these episodes of Talks from Freaking Narnia as podcasts rather than video, then what you want to do is subscribe to my Patreon page. All my episodes are there as podcasts, audio only, uploaded on the very same day they go up on YouTube. So keep that in mind if that's something you like. There are different tiers. A higher tier can also give you access to my extra videos, which I've posted a bunch of them. They're exclusively on Patreon, like the Shadow and Bone one that I just mentioned a few minutes ago. So if that's more your thing, you can subscribe to that tier and have full access to them. Or if there's just one in particular, one extra video that you want to watch, you can also just donate straight to my Ko-fi page, and just make sure that on your donation you make a note telling me, hey, I want to watch this video in particular, and I will get back to you with some way to access that video so you can watch it. And thank you for your donation. Thank you for subscribing. It really, 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 really helps. And that's about it from me today. I will see you guys next time with another video from all the way in Freaking Narnia. Flamethrowers. What is it with this show and flamethrowers? This is my vlog where I talk about, as usual, when it happens. Sorry. From the last it's not a sneak peek, it's